The cars, when I rent them, they're full of contact information and private stuff.
Yeah.
It worked pretty good. It worked pretty good.
The owner of our company, we have a couple of company cars, and he's synced his phone to every car, and I can see all of the contacts on his phone. It's like,
And you can put two cell phones on it too. It's Panasonic does this. It's their standard phone now. That's pretty much a standard cordless phone. And it also has the contact list, it has a white list and a black list. And we'll look it up for you list.
I have a
Ah!
I have a weird cheap stereo in my car that lets you do Bluetooth to two phones and it mixes them. You can listen to two phones producing audio at the same time. So Pink Floyd and Led Zeppelin
There
together.
you go.
My mom's car. I think she can sync up to 4 phones to her receiver.
Mhm.
I don't know if it lets it all do it at once. I don't know. I've never tried that.
Mine it was a selling point.
That was
Well, I think it actually has two receivers, two Bluetooth receivers.
Oh,
I can't think of any way you could do it otherwise. So, yeah, unless you pick what phone you're connected to.
Hey, Art,
Hi there.
there you are.
Can you hear me?
Can hear you.
I can hear you.
I changed the camera. Does that look a little different?
Yeah. It's a new camera, or just a new position.
Different camera.
Okay, what's this one?
And it's one of my cheap generic action cameras.
Oh, okay.
One of the cheap generic GoPro clone, cheap clone.
I was gonna say GoPro, I would have thought was out of your price range, but
Well, this one's so cheap that it was $15,
oh, wow.
but it looks like a GoPro.
Okay.
It's rectangular.
It's rectangular.
Well, it certainly seems to work well, I will say that.
Yeah, I think this is a little better. It's also more of a fisheye kind of lens, so it's a wider angle.
What is the angle on it, do you know?
I think it was 180. I'm not real sure.
180? Okay.
it is pretty wide.
Yeah, I can see the middle of your hand there, Jim. When you hold your hand up like that, I can
I
see
think
your
that
left.
Leroy did that intentionally. He got me like out of frame for some reason. He said,
Yeah, I
"It's
can
either
see
that
your
or a
left.
paper bag. Which one do I want?" You know, that's mean. And then puts Kenny right in the middle of it. That makes no sense.
Hey, Kenny.
Hey, guy.
Tell you what, I'm gonna shut off my mic and listen because
He shut
Try
off his
that.
mic halfway through a sentence.
okay, let me try it again. I haven't finished lunch, so I'm gonna shut off my mic so you don't hear me chewing and just listen.
Okay, sounds good.
You need to boost the audio.
I need to boost the audio.
How would one do that? Oh, okay. That's good.
So
Okay, you were talking about Art. He's got some BLE or BTE.
BLE.
BLE. Tell Art what the BLE is.
I'll show you if you want. But we gotta get a browser open.
I could do that. I could even share the screen.
Cool.
He could load Zoom on his cell phone and put it up there.
Or did the screen- oh,
Think about
That's a
that.
Microsoft thing, isn't it?
No,
No.
Zoom, that's one of the great things about Zoom. Zoom is
not.
everywhere. Zoom is on everything. Yeah,
Okay.
we get Ray bopping in
Uh,
from,
Righty, RIGHTY.RCE.systems.
our-
Righty, RIGHTY. .RCE.
dot
This
RCE,
implies there's a lefty as well.
RCE, right? RCE?
RCE.systems. There you go. Admin.
Great password.
Oh,
Now you
very
need to change
secure.
it because you know we're streaming, right?
That's okay. All right, so if you go to the history off the left-hand menu,
History, okay.
Starting from the bottom.
I see it.
all right, so these are the alarms that have come in at their timestamps. I just hit that one that says void next to alarm one.
With the purple.
Yeah, with the purple. So we'll do it again. So notice this thing's not blinking or anything. There's a little app here that gives us the status of whether this is alarming. So you hold this for a couple seconds and the red shows up. This is now knows it's an alarm. If you hit the refresh or wait 15 seconds, you'll get the new alarm entry.
There it is.
All right, now click on the timestamp. It'll give you the details of that event. And the open map link is down there in the highlight. That's the most recent location.
So it should say that we're in the library.
Yep.
It's pretty much where we are. So that's cool stuff, man. It is. I do all the back end stuff. It's an embedded Linux device serving all that up.
So does it, for the location, does the phone have to get a GPS block or does it just use what was last?
It's getting from the phone, and I didn't write the mobile apps. There's an Android and iOS version.
So looks like it's
Pretty
bit
darn
off.
close. Yeah.
They cheat. They use like the Wi-Fi access points, all kinds of stuff. So yeah, then you can configure that to call people and send out emails. If I'm moving, it'll accumulate points. If you go back to the history and look at lunch around 11:42, I think I went to lunch.
Do not give the girlfriend access. Oh.
Okay, click 2, I guess.
There it is, 11:42, right in the middle.
Oh, yep.
Timestamp.
I was right on it. Didn't even see it.
Yeah, so there you can see, I'm driving around 275 there, although the first position is not right. There's not a 0 there. Don't do that.
Yeah, that would be.
You're out there in the
That
middle
would
of
be interesting.
the Indian Ocean somewhere.
Yep, that's my house.
Oh, cool.
Oh, it's just past. So yeah, it's accumulating position updates every 3 minutes if you're moving. Logging.
And this is the phone doing most of this, right?
It's the sensor.
So the sensor itself actually knows where you're at.
This is
Okay.
no. Okay. The phone is acting as the sensor. It's the GPS receiver and the conduit for the button presses here.
Okay.
And then we can clear it on from either side, but it won't do anything interesting on clearing.
Cool.
Yeah. If you hit notifications, let's see if there's any DT left in here. Those are kind of interesting. I don't think there are. Okay. Instead of this one, can you switch, if you still care, if you switch to minion A instead of writing. Yeah, minion A. I guess there's a
That's not right.
NA, yeah, that's right.
Is that right?
Same password.
Same password.
Dude. Okay.
This is just
Even though
test
it's a
server,
thing you
right?
don't really care about, it's still at some point inside your network.
I have a VLAN set up for these IoT devices that are really isolated. So these are cool.
Oh, cool.
This is what we use for automated testing. If you select one of those and there's a play button at the bottom, not there.
Oh, not
Oh,
bad.
that's okay.
One of the
This is,
other ones.
that's showing you what it would look like if that event occurred. It would replace that curly bracket text with the details of the event.
With
for it.
stuff, yeah. There's a play button there.
Locals, yeah, right there. So you gotta pick one.
I just didn't have them.
So that's a randomly generated UUID.
Okay, I'm done.
That's a randomly generated UUID that's being played out to speaker. And there's a device out there that's always listening. When it hears a UUID that's been DTF encoded, it writes in the database. And then a validation test makes sure that our simulated inputs generated the proper outputs for end-to-end continuous integration testing stuff. So, yeah,
Cool.
and that runs at 2 a.m. every night.
So,
So do some of these have multiple buttons? So you've got the help and you've got gun and you've got
There's three different
crazy people.
There's three different sensor families. We've got a little piece of PC software that you can run and turn your computers into panic buttons. And then there's Inovonics. They make a bunch of 900 megahertz wireless sensors
Mhm.
for a facility coverage of computers. And they've got 1 button, 4 button, door window, a smoke, heat. They got 50 at least.
As a gun owner, I don't think you should have a gun.
You look like a gun picture.
wow. That's pretty cool. I did some more work on getting the Roomba to work with Arduino. Obviously, I didn't bring the Roomba. That should say
It
something.
ran away.
No, actually, I got it to work. I brought a small
Pictures are it
video.
didn't happen.
Let me get rid of this. I got a small video that I will share. Programmed with the Arduino IDE.
It's been tagged with the others.
It is. When I actually first tried this, I actually got the motors to work, but I didn't get the sensors to work. So it was just running into stuff and just. So that's huge progress right there, with just to get to that point. The only, I still haven't been able to actually get it to work with the proper pin definitions.
Okay,
Yeah, well,
that was for the Model B.
you look at that like it's a thing, but I don't exactly understand what the Arduino or how the board core is defining the pins.
Mhm.
I don't really know what it's doing, but or how it's doing it.
Maybe there are multiple versions and you've just gotten the wrong version. You just got to reassign what number goes with.
It looks,
the
I
label.
don't even know if I brought the file. It looks like there's like 3 or 4 different arrays, but I need to get rid of pins, and I'm not sure how to get rid of pins. I think I can rename the pins to anything I want. I just don't know how to get rid of pins. And it looks like there's 3 or 4 different arrays that are defining how the pins work.
Okay,
So you make one change in one array, and then you have to make a similar change
yeah,
in like a couple others. And of course, it's all low level stuff. So it's using, the Arduino IDE has taken all the low level stuff and made it simple, like saying pin 0 is serial. Pin 1 is TX or RX or whatever pin 1 is. Pin 2 is this, and pin 3 has PWM on it. It's all simple. You don't use PC, whatever the low level thing is, PCB0, blah, blah, blah for pin 3. Just use digital write or analog write for pin 3.
Hmm.
I don't know. I
yeah. I'd have to see.
may have brought it.
Order a new carrier board for SOM. It's 8 layers, 8 USB ports, gigabit Ethernet, spine replaced MRAM. It's gonna be fun to bring it up. Yeah.
Here we go. I will share with Art. This is, I think this is where they define pins. Might be the compiler stuff. This is the compiler stuff. That's the compiler stuff. This is where they define the pins. Some more compiler stuff.
C++.
Yeah. Here it is. So now your boards are labeled like that. And then your timers, it's all low level stuff. That's not it either. Where the heck did it go? I know it's in there somewhere. Oh. It's under variations. There we go. Arduino pins. Would help if you looked in the right thing, right? So, see, I think I can change any of the pin definitions or any of the pin names that I want. But I don't exactly understand, like PC6 is pin 1 and like PD5 is really D5 and it has a PWM on it.
Okay, so the PD and PC, port C,
Port
pin
C.
6, port D,
Yeah.
and that's from
That's
assembler.
yeah, that's the low level.
Um,
But when you get down here,
You also have to be sure you're using the part that's describing.
oh, I am. I'm using the right. I'm using the right part. When you get down here, this is what confuses me. You've got your PDs, then your PVs, and then your PCs. Okay, I'm good there. I know what those are. But I don't know what this BV is.
I'm sorry, what is?
What this here is, BV.
Probably a macro that turns it into a mask, given the bit mask name. So like the first one's gonna give you a 1, and the second one's gonna be 2, then 4, then 8, 16. But probably.
Right. And it sets whether or not it's an input or an output or a counter timer, something like that.
Yeah, but what I don't get is why it recycles.
Yeah, I would agree with you there.
Looks like it's 8 bit stuff.
Okay, it's agreeing with the stuff upside. You can see C14 is the same C14. So that bit is the first bit on the C port. So you have the same number of D's at the top as you got at the bottom, then it goes to B.
Okay.
You see it? So that's why it went back to 0. It's because it's the first bit on the next port.
Okay. Well, I might be able to, so if I want to get rid of like pin 12, I look at my pin map and I go, pin 12 is whatever the heck it is. And I erase it out of there and it should get rid of it, right?
Probably doesn't mess with it unless you try to use it.
Right.
PV4, if I got rid of the fourth PV in both spots, wouldn't that get rid of pin 12? No, because it would just move everything up, wouldn't it? I need to get rid of pins.
Why do you need to get rid of pins?
Because they're internally connected. And I don't want to accidentally use them if I'm programming.
Yeah, then pull out both those arrays. You said earlier there might be 3 arrays.
Yeah, I thought there was. Thought I saw a third one somewhere. I don't know where I saw the third one at. Or where I thought I saw the third one. There's something I don't really understand. I don't understand this whole pin layout thing at all, honestly, because this is where, like, the common name in Arduino for pin 13 would be SCK, and pin A4 is SDA, pin 18, which is digital pin 18. So if I get rid of, the way it looks to me, like I can't really get rid of pins.
You can, but you don't need to.
But if I've got the command module has some of these pins internally connected.
Hold
So
on a
if
second.
you try to use them for something other than what they're connected to, that will end up causing all kinds of problems with the robot.
Yes, but it wasn't designed to be programmed with Arduino.
This is a fact.
And just because Arduino software can push an application into it doesn't change anything. You just need to keep track of what pin, what motor is connected to, or what command you need to send where.
So you're going you're gonna put that on the program. Keep track of that stuff.
The user. I mean, I'm sure that when they made that thing, they had their own custom version of Arduino or something similar. Well, how did they expect people to program it?
AVR.
Oh, Everdo? Okay.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, no, actually, it was WinAVR, but same, different.
It's just a bastardization.
Yeah. Actually, they tell you to write your C code
Mhm.
in Notepad and then compile it.
Ooh.
Well,
It'll work.
all it is a text file.
Yeah.
But if I was, I've got boards, maybe I don't know, I've got boards that are AVR based that have gotten rid of some of these definitions so that it's harder to use it, depends. I guess you still could if you knew how. Maybe I need to look at how they've gotten rid of some of this crap.
Can you find something somebody else wrote and open it up in Arduino and see what it thinks of it? Their source, not obviously not X.
Well, the drive code that I've got for it is the original code that was just C code, C+ code. And that's actually how I finally was able to get it to work. I've been working on modifying one of the definitions, one of the board cores to work with it. And it's not in here. It's not in, I didn't bring it. I had to add, basically I made their C code into a library to turn it into something that I could call for driving the motors forward, driving the motors backwards. But that it worked, and I was able to do it. I had to modify their C code a bit to get it to work with the Arduino IDE. But our Arduino is, I mean, very deep down. It's just C.
Do you have schematics for all the stuff you're trying to use?
Yeah. Most, yeah.
It's a Roomba, do you have schematics of?
That it's called the Roomba Create, and it comes with a command module. The command module is AVR based. It's a 168, so it's only got 8K or something. It's real low memory, which I'm challenging myself to learn more about how the low level stuff works anyway, because I really don't get some of that. And then, of course, Arduino wants to do something even more funky, because if you look at I don't have the original code. But if you look at the original code, it's all low level. Every bit of it is low level, in their documentation explains, not well, but it explains a bit what you're actually doing. You're modifying register entries to make it do something other than what it would do anyway. It doesn't explain real well what they're actually doing. They basically tell you, this is how you do it, and good luck.
You have to read about the resources on the processor and the page sheets for processors, and it's going to be a massive volume. The TI part we used had 200 pages in the manual.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got the,
That one won't be as complex.
I've got the AVR, I've got the AVR 168 manual somewhere. And it's not horrible. It kind of goes over some of the same stuff that iRobot went over. So I didn't really read it close. I read it enough to go, oh, okay. And I still don't know if I would understand it. I know what I'm doing. I'm modifying registers, but I don't know what that really is doing. Not really. But remember, I couldn't get the serial ports to work at all. I mean, it's a huge step just to be able to communicate with the stupid thing to make it move.
Yeah.
That's like a huge step. So I may just put a bow tie on this project and say, it's close enough.
And it bounced off and changed directions. It was awesome.
If I could duplicate it, if I could write my own program and make it do it, because right now it's still basically using the drive program. But if I could write my own program and make it do something useful or bounce around, then maybe I will just write it off and say, done. But that's fine.
At this point, don't ask any why questions. Just make a statement.
I don't have any why answers.
I know.
There is September 18th. There is a very small ham get together swap meet in Miamisburg that I'm thinking would be cool to go to.
Art got one, brought one up.
Yeah, the Cincinnati one is the 28th. Is that right, Art?
Yeah, I think I keep getting notifications for it, and I think it's the 28th or 29th, something like that. Let me see if I can find a notification.
That one is a fairly, well, it's still smaller than Ham Convention, but it's a fairly well organized and large.
Yeah, I just found it.
The 18th is,
They have lots of junk. That's the question.
I just found it.
Um,
It's Saturday, the 28th, from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. It is at the Clermont County Fairgrounds, which is 1000 Locust Street, Owensville, Ohio, 45160. Let me see if I can cut and paste that. Copy. All right, I'm going to try and paste it into the chat.
there
There
it
you
is.
go. So that's the Cincinnati.
It costs like $5 to get in the door. I think that's what they said.
But it's also got a talk-in frequency too. Hey, Vicente,
Art, how are you?
good, you?
Fine. A little bit traffic. Yeah, rain. What's happening?
We're just here now.
Another fun thing going on this weekend, Gravel-Rama.
Gravel-Rama.
Gravel-Rama. So imagine an 800-pound dune buggy climbing up a pile of pea gravel.
Okay.
They have dragsters on pea gravel and lots of stuff on pea gravel. It's hilarious. It's out in Cleveland. It's relatively cheap to get in. Thank you.
Where's this, Steve?
In Cleves, it's west of Cincinnati along the river. There's a bunch of gravel pits and they stack up sand or gravel as high as it'll go.
What's it called?
Gravel Rama, Graval or ELRAMA. And it started yesterday. It is really entertaining.
Cool.
There are some good videos online. So those tires they've got, those are actual scoops. And they're basically just throwing gravel back fast enough that they go up. Because, yeah, they're rockets.
The junior events. Send your kids out on a dangerous gravel hill.
It's gravel. How
It's
much pain?
gravel.
It hurts them enough that it makes them go a little slower next time. But how bad can you really get hurt on pea gravel?
Nice.
You see the, let's see if I can find it. There was a robot that a guy made with those big tires for going in sand and dirt and stuff. And it worked all right-ish. I don't know what he called that thing. Boston Dynamics. No. Boston Dynamics. No. Probably was modeled after one of those Boston Dynamics robots. Guy's name.
There we go. This is a slightly dated picture of our new carrier board. It's for a Sun. Sun looks like an old computer memory chip. It's got the processor, flash, and wireless communications on it. This thing's 8 layers. It's crazy.
I'm glad you can follow what's going on there.
Not on that. On the schematics, you can.
So is this the die itself?
That's a board, circuit board about this big.
Okay.
It's got set 4 USB on top and bottom, power for police radios, spot to put in the processor, tamper, serial receiver.
What does SOM stand for?
System on module.
Okay.
There are sites,
6 layers.
8. There are sites.
You got anything going on?
What is your robot, your iRobot?
You're late. I already showed the video of it and everything.
Is it a thing? This is a computer generator experiment or what?
I've got a video of the regular Roomba actually going and cleaning the room though.
Do you know if the immediate brother is working here? Or they accept jobs or something?
Yeah, I think you gotta email them a job.
I was thinking on to make a new track, you
Uh-huh.
know, but with a very wide line, and the line goes from black to white, all the shades of gray, you know. So you program your sensor with a LED to follow some degree of gray. So if it goes to the darker side, the robot corrects to the center. If it goes to the lighter side, correct also. So we have a track just using the light intensity, you know, maybe nice to try that.
Like with one sensor instead of an
Just
array.
one sensor, yeah,
Yeah,
but analog sensor. And you put your own line just to over, don't depend on the ambient light because they change around the route. So you use your own LEDs to light
Light it
the
up.
path. And use the light, the sensor intensity to decide to develop the LED. But I want to make a big track to experiment with the idea.
I wonder if they've got any kind of material that's not as shiny over there. Cause that white was pretty
Okay.
shiny.
Yeah, maybe too shiny.
So I wonder if they've got any, I wonder if they got maybe a darker material and we do like a shade of white to gray or white to black. I think
We can use mate, how you call it, this spray paint that remove the shine.
The shine.
Yeah, make it matte white or matte black, yeah.
Lacquer or transparent, you know. And you use indirect light to avoid just the reflecting. It's a matter of adjust the idea, but
How about using a laser or a focus light
yeah, but
and put a frequency on it so you can pick that dot is pulsating at this frequency.
maybe. And use a receiver, a sensor. But
Well, the reflection is always going to be at the same frequency. The amplitude will change depending on where it hits the stripe.
you can use red LEDs and a red filter and a light sensor and use only the red light.
Yeah, okay. Put focus the red dot on it, or the dot will still reflect on it.
Yeah. Yeah, and if you use a matte paint over the whole thing.
But you can use the what do they call it?
I-
The
I-
glass-
I-
eyeglass, stuff to filter out reflections.
Maybe I can use my printer and use just paper, maybe four sheets and make a small film just to prove the concept, you know.
Or paint it matte black, or paint it graphene black. Graphene black, that they have a graphene based black that
It's
is
it's
not,
like a black
will
hole.
not, it's a black hole.
in there.
Yeah. It doesn't reflect
I saw
light.
videos about that and it's like a hole.
Yeah,
They paint.
yeah. I mean, it just
Nothing
doesn't
comes back.
exist.
No light goes out from there.
But matte black should do something similar to that.
Yeah, they might have something over there that, because you can't go in there and look anymore.
Maybe I use the, you remember the robot we bought in eBay that they sell like 3 for $20 or something? Maybe it's small enough to use several papers. Several sheet paper, standard A size paper. Put together like a puzzle.
You running into anything this week, Steve? Anything interesting?
Linux group is meeting this weekend. I'm gonna try to get to Gravel-Rama, probably Sunday. And I've broken my laptop. So that's why. So it has an encrypted root file system and swap. And I had a process running before and I just hit the power switch to get out of it. And now I can't mount swap and I can't fisk it. And he makes it take 3 minutes to boot. That's not good.
You're just trying to make a track that this will follow. You're trying to make a track for your robot to follow. Is that what the objective is?
Sorry, I don't understand.
That, yes, but the path that it follows is based on a grayscale
Yeah.
line. So one side of it, you've got a wider stripe
Yeah.
and one side is black and it fades to white. And how to follow along at just one spot. I think you actually need a camera, not just a photocell or something. Because you're gonna need to compare a 1/4 inch to the left and a 1/4 inch to the right.
No, my
I
idea is
understand what you're saying, but
you have a gray path that goes from very light gray
Mhm.
to very dark gray.
Mhm.
You put your robot in the middle, press start, the sensor measure the intensity of light in the center where you
Okay.
put it, and start moving. If the sensor detects lighter area,
yeah,
moves a little bit to the opposite direction. If it's too dark, move in the opposite direction, trying to find
No,
the
yeah.
center all the time and moves all around. You see?
Camera with your camera, your little cheap
Now,
little camera would be
with
ideal.
a camera, you can do whatever, but I'm thinking of something very simple, very
just a photocell or something.
novel, you know, something different.
Okay.
Instead of having several sensors, just use a wide path the size of the robot.
You need an array of sensors.
No,
Just,
I'm
like
thinking
a-
in a single
Do what?
single analog sensor that
Analog
detect the
sensor.
intensity. It go lighter, moves in the opposite direction. Darker, move in the other direction. I'm trying to maintain the same intensity all the way.
Okay, why don't you just use an array of photosensors? Photo
This is the
transistors.
classic way. I'm thinking a new way of doing it.
Do they use 8 side by side
No, but this is the classic way. I am thinking on use a single sensor
Oh, okay.
with analog sensor to follow, because it's not a line, it's a path.
If you use a single sensor, then you're subjecting yourself to ambient light, so it's gonna
Yeah,
kill you.
that's why you need to add your own line that is several orders of magnitude greater than the ambient. So the ambient doesn't matter.
Oh, okay.
You put a couple of LEDs close to your sensor, and the
You got-
intensity of your LEDs
You
is
got
bigger than.
ambient, you got angle, you got, a reflection, you got everything.
Yeah, but the sensor
Yeah.
can detect like a square inch area, and it's enough to average all the intensity of the area.
We were working on a job site where they were trying to clean up the soil. The way they clean up the soil is they drill holes in, they put probes down in, and they literally boil the groundwater out,
Okay.
right? They transport the contaminants. And you wanted to put enough water in there so it would conduct electricity, but not too much water because it went into the filtration system.
Okay.
So we would increase the amount of water and see if we got better current flow. We decrease the amount of water, we'd see if it dropped off, and we're doing that random little bumps to zero in, make it self-calibrate.
Okay.
Then I set up, totally unrelated, set up a camera to watch these plants. In time lapse, you could see these plants randomly moving around to try to hone in on the sun, doing the exact same algorithm.
Okay.
In nature, it's so cool to see it.
What about using one of these?
Uh-huh.
They're palm size. They're, and they've got the analog sensors, but you can just read one of the sensors if you wanted to.
Analog sensors, light sensors.
They're IR sensors, yeah.
Ah, okay.
I'll bring one of those next week.
I have something in this size, but without brain, it's just the motors and the platform.
This
I
thing's, it's about yay big. Maybe a little bit bigger. It fits in your palm. So if you wanted to put it on, 4 or 5 sheets of paper, you should be able to do it. Pretty easy. It's about the smallest one I've got. That's about the smallest robot I've got.
I think I have the same motor, the same motors, but in an aluminum disc,
I've got a couple of those too. You've seen those. Those are pretty small.
Yeah, one of the big issues is you can tell the shade of gray and where you are, but which way is forward, which way is down the stripe.
No,
If
it's
you-
like any line forward robot. You put the robot and press start, and it goes
Because
forward.
that way.
Is it going to follow? It's following a path.
Yeah, but in this case, the path will be like a wide road that is changing the
But if
Right,
it
right.
drifts to the left or drifts to the right,
exactly.
and it's not going directly down the line.
It'll
And it's
get
gonna
lighter and
turn.
darker.
Yeah, if you program the algorithm, if it's dark over here, then I've got to correct to go this direction. If it's light over here, then I've got to correct to go back.
I think that it must work.
I think that's
The simple
oversimplifying the
one is a
algorithm.
couple of sensors. I think the sensor that hit
Okay.
the black line, turn off this motor, and the other one wins and go back. And the moment you see the robot like oscillating all the
Yeah.
way. But in this case, you have another value, and you know how far from the center you are. So you
Well,
can.
you could, yeah. Yeah, you could do the same thing with a black line. The strength, if you put it through, one thing I used to do horse race timers, And when I put, one of the things I did was put a frosted piece of plastic before the photo sensor.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, to
so anything that was too high or too
average
low,
the light.
yeah, it would do an average, force an
Yeah, yeah.
average. So if you're looking at a black
Yes,
line,
that's great.
it would average the black line and say, okay. Yeah, but that's right, you had to do motion to tell if it's going up or going down. That's true. So you can only do that while you're moving. Yeah.
I can bring one of those Hulu robots next week though, if you wanna play with it.
I can try the sensor and the algorithm just the piece of paper with the sensor. And we can put everything in a row. How it goes.
Because having the motor, having the two motors, yeah, just need a simple device that does that will drive left and right, and then you put the processor on it and try your algorithm. You know? But if it, yeah, if it's, it can tell if you're just looking at a single sensor, they can tell if it's there or it's not there. And
No, but
in
it
your case,
also-
you have intensity, that's true.
Yeah.
You want to hope that you have a very stable environment where the light level is not changing.
But usually you do this in a moment. I mean, in a minute, you go around and when you press start, you put the sensor in the middle, and this is the reference. You sense the value, and after that you go. The idea is to
Watch for the 60.
to avoid the dependence from the lamp, putting your own light or using a infrared light or a filter in the sensor just to remove all the ambient light.
You need a reference. Yeah, it'd be nice to have a reference source looking back up the sensor. So you could say, oh, the source says it's this brightness here now. So if somebody changes the light or you get a bad angle.
No, but the idea is that you know the intensity of the center because you are measuring it when you start. You measure the center of the path. Start, measure, I don't know, 10 times, 20 times.
Yeah, we have
and this is the
shadows
value.
here. When your device turns, you're gonna have a different shadow.
That's why he wanted to light it.
Sensor and
Or maybe you
lights
could
are in
put a
the middle.
shield around it. That would be a good thing.
If they're
A
in the
shield.
middle of the robot, it's gonna always be in a shadow.
But that's why he wanted to have it self-illuminated, illuminate itself.
Yeah.
There's, it's got two IR sensors on it, but that'll follow lines.
But those are on off, right?
I think so.
I have the sensor, I need to check which one to use.
You know, I'm not sure if those are analog or if those are digital, but they're only using two to do it, and it will follow a black line.
One of them, the
Oh.
left one tells it to turn right, and the right one tells it to turn left, probably.
The good thing about this is that it's proportional, so you
Yeah.
can go smooth. You know, instead of trying to jump from one side to another.
I'll play with one of those too. I've got one of those at the house. I can play with that. Actually, that's the company that made our original map. The one or
Okay,
the MBOT. They're the ones that made the
Yeah.
original
okay.
that
I want to make an A shape, so in the intersection, there is a problem, you know? Because to grade
yeah.
patterns crossing maybe a problem for the road. A star.
Oh.
Honolulu, right?
Modulate the light source at a known frequency, then synchronize that big word right there, detect the resulting light reflection This gets rid of ambient light problem. Which I think is kind of what you were talking about doing anyway, right? You wanted to light it, self-lighted, and he's saying modulate the light so that you're
But
looking
it's
for that.
proportional or it's on off? I think it's on off. You said the threshold and it just turn on and off.
How's a smoke in California, Art?
Pardon?
That's a smoke in California.
Well, changes from moment to moment. The really bad smoke is over by Lake Tahoe on the Nevada border and up into Idaho, but the Bay Area here is running 50 to 100 micrograms per cubic meter. That's for people who are, not particularly sensitive to it. That's not a problem. But for people like my wife who has bad asthma, when it goes over 50, we stay in and keep the house buttoned up. We have a pretty good electrostatic precipitator in our HVAC system that removes a significant number of the small particles. But I don't know if you're familiar with Purple Air. Purple Air makes sensors. They also coordinate a community-based arrangement where people connect their sensors to a common website, and then you can see what everybody who has joined this group has on their local sensors. Let me see if I can find one right now. Oh, come on. Here we go. Let me see how to share this. Okay. All right. Can I share the screen?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Okay. Oh crap. All right. Just a moment. Pause for station break here while I figure out how to do this share. Try again.
Anybody gotten online for the Starlink stuff?
I want to,
I went through.
my only option in the apartment we're in is Spectrum. And yeah, I'm almost ready to drop $600 for 500. Yeah, I hate Spectrum so bad.
Okay, Leroy, I'm going to put the link to what I'm trying to share in the
Okay.
chat. And then
Fi optics, Cincinnati Bell on it.
can you share that?
If you guys work.
I certainly can try. There you go.
Okay. So if you look at at each of those sites, somebody has a purple air detector and they've joined it to this community share system. And actually, if you come down 880 and go no, too far, back up, back up, back up, a little bit more, a little bit more. Now go, whoa, stop. Go to your right and look, double click on the one that says 83 there. Okay, that detector is about 100 yards from my front door. I have not purchased one of these yet. They're fairly pricey. They're about close to $300, 250 to 300 bucks. But any rate, that's the EPA PM 2.5. That's the amount of 2.5 or less micron particles. And those are in units of micrograms per cubic meter. So once you get up to above 50, people with asthma start having problems. And if you were to sweep, if you zoom out a little bit, Leroy, a little more. Now let the screen refresh there. Whoa, don't keep going.
Too far.
Yeah, it takes a while to refresh. If you, whoa, stop. You can see some of those there off towards Modesto and Stockton. You can see what it's like there. And if you zoom a little bit more so you can go over to as far as Tahoe, just zoom a little bit more.
The 147.
No, zoom out, not in. Zoom out.
Oh, zoom out.
It does seem.
Yeah. Keep going.
I'm impressed.
A little more. Okay, stop there.
And cubic meter there.
Air quality.
Air quality.
Yeah, so wait for it to refresh. Okay,
Wow.
so that purple stuff, that's up there by Lake Tahoe. Lake Tahoe is underneath that stack of purple dots. So you get a pretty good idea of what it looks like there. So these are, even though they're pretty pricey, there's a lot of them in Northern California for obvious reasons, because we have a big problem. If you look in Southern Ohio, you'll find they're a little more sparse. At any rate, it covers the whole, they have them all over the country. You're only at Dodge City so far.
You're lost in Mississippi.
I'm lost somewhere.
There's Lexington, need to go north.
No, you're fine. You're
There we are.
Oh, yeah.
there's Cincinnati.
Okay.
Now you zoom in,
Oh, nice. We are okay.
and there you go.
That's
But you can see that there's a lot less people who've sprung for these in.
It's because the air's better.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm sure the motivation for buying all those in Northern California is that we have a serious air quality problem. Yeah, now 23, wouldn't bother my wife at all.
that's
But But
Come back to Milford.
say again?
Come back to Milford. It's better
Are you
there.
in Milford?
Well, that's,
First, the humidity is.
I
about
need
100.
you. You come back from California.
yeah, we've discussed that, but we have some other, we were gone for 7.5 months, so we've got a bunch of stuff we gotta catch up with, including doctor appointments and dental appointments and blah, 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 blah. So for the time being, we're kind of
Oh,
stuck
it's just
here.
updated.
Do these things measure humidity and temperature as well?
They measure temperature. If you go in your upper right hand corner of the screen, there they have the devices. If you click on one of the outdoor devices there, that'll give you the specs. There you go. You roll down the screen, it'll give you a little more.
Wouldn't you say
Data.
the color would be purple?
There's the sensors. You're looking up the bottom of the thing, and they have duplicate sensors in there so that they can do a comparison. These are fairly accurate, it turns out. So, but you'll see they're also a little pricey at $249. And I don't think they're available on eBay yet, right?
There's another company that makes these. I'm trying to think what it is. They're real similar. They measure organic volatiles and
Yeah,
all sorts of stuff.
yeah. These are strictly particulate devices. And if you look at whoops, look at the bottom view again, Leroy.
Yep.
Click on the bottom view. All right, those two devices there, each of them has a little fan in it. And what they do is they suck in air and they blow it by a laser, and they detect the particle count by looking at the amount of off-axis light scatter, because if there's no particles there, the laser goes straight through, won't be any lateral scatter. But if you have smoke in there, there's a lot of lateral scatter. So they've calibrated that so that they come out with units of particles of a certain size per cubic meter. It turns out those two little devices in there that they use, they don't make those. I think those are HP. HP makes those, but they're fairly expensive. Now you could roll your own, but at any rate, so that's the story. That's the long-winded story to your question about smoke in Northern California.
Need to cut down.
Yeah, stop that smoking.
Yeah,
Trying to quit, we know.
Uh,
All right, we gotta get out of here.
yeah, I gotta shut
Okay.
down.
Thanks.
see you guys next week.
Yep. Bye.
All right.
Bye.